episode of Tuesday Tips. I'm your host, Christy Joe, and I'm here to talk to you about ditching the 9-to-5 and building your dream business. So today, one of the tips that I want to give you is about your perception of other people. Now, when we start a business, a lot of times we see all of these things like, you can have a 5-figure day, a 6-figure launch. I made this much money in, 10 days, 1 week, whatever it is that someone is trying to promote. Now, I'm not saying that didn't happen by any means. Usually it did. But a lot of times what is missing is how they got to that, okay? So it's not just wake up and decide that, hey, today I want to help people build an online business and I'm going to launch it and make $10,000. What you miss out on is seeing the months, if not sometimes years, that they struggled to build a business, that they struggled to get people on their Facebook page, that they struggled to grow their Instagram account, that they struggled to grow their email list, that there were days, if not months, where they did not make any money, that they were not sure how they were going to pay their bills sometimes, okay? So although all of this looks real pretty and a neat little package that when you start your business and you do this and you do that, you can have these huge launches or make this much money every month. Now, again, these people usually do make that in their launch or whatever it is, but that's not something that they do in the beginning. And so you have to remember that. Just because someone, took this path does not mean that that's the path that you're going to take. You may take longer and it may take you less time to reach that or to get there. But what will pay off is being consistent, which means sticking to it and continuing to do it. Continue to post on your Instagram, continue to post on your Facebook page, continue to figure out Facebook ads. Continue to try to build your email list. These people that have email lists that you hear about that have 200,000 people on them or even 20,000 people, they didn't wake up and get 20,000 people on their email list overnight. They built those one subscriber at a time. And so as you're building that and as you're doing that, you wake up one day and you go, oh my gosh, I have 20,000 people on my email list. You don't launch something or run a Facebook ad to have an opt-in and wake up the next morning with 20,000 people on your email list. That's just not how it works. Now, of course, there's always these startup things that you hear about where people say that, they started a business and they just sold it for like $10 million or some crazy story like that. That's not everyday life. More than likely, that is not going to happen to you. And I know I've said this before. If it does, oh my gosh, go buy some expensive ass champagne and celebrate that because that's awesome and that's great. And I'm happy for you. And you should be patting yourself on the back because whatever you did was amazing. But if that's not the story that you live and that's not how your path goes, that's okay. You can still absolutely pat yourself on the back when you go from 0 to 20 subscribers. You can celebrate that just as much as you will whenever you get 20,000. Taking that time and celebrating those steps will really help you to be excited about what you do instead of thinking, man, I was going to get 20 subscribers with this email ad and I only got 15. Oh darn, I completely just missed the mark. That's not true. You just killed it. You have more now than you did before. So, technically, you do have something to celebrate, and that is absolutely worth celebrating. So I just want to, remind you of this, that other people's success, what it looks like when they announce that they had this or they did this and it was a success. That's not always the start to finish part of it, right? So that's not necessarily the weeks and months or maybe even years that they spent struggling, that they spent trying to get those sales, that they spent trying to get people to their website. So I just want you to remember that today. Keep trucking along, keep doing what you're doing, and if it's not working out, find someone who can help you, and know that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time to build that business. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Tuesday Tips, and I'll see you next time.